Hello, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Today, we are here to discuss how we can utilize data and set up a very strong architecture that will involve some of the modern concepts around setting up a data estate and utilizing the power of prescriptive analytics to power your business. My name is Srini Swaminatha. I'm a managing director for data modernization at TEKsystems Global Services. And today, I'm glad to inform you I have been joined by Palak Shah, who is a senior solutions architect for partners from AWS. Together, we would want to walk through a comprehensive methodology to be able to use a technique to unlock the true potential of data through comprehensive data collection strategies and prescriptive analytics. In today's agenda, we will talk through how you can put your data to work and how we can set up a modern data estate. We focus on powering prescriptive analytics, which is highly emphasized on action and not on reaction. We will also walk through a representative timeline, how we can bring all of this into reality, and we can then look into the key metrics that defines the success of this entire ecosystem. Let me ask Palak to quickly share her thoughts around how AWS and TEKsystems can put your data to work.
Hi everyone, this is Palak Shah. I'm a partner solution architect at AWS, and thank you Srini for that introduction. And welcome everyone. So let's talk about what we can do with our data. So data volumes have been increasing at an unprecedented rate. They've been exploding from terabytes to petabytes and sometimes even exabytes of data. And traditional on premise data analytics approaches cannot handle that anymore. And these data volumes have increased so much. And because of that, they don't scale well enough and are either too expensive or very difficult to handle. And we hear from companies and our customers and our partners all the time that they are looking to extract more value from the data that they have today and their data, and they also struggle to capture, store, analyze all the data generated by today's modern and digital businesses. Data is growing exponentially. It is coming from new sources, is increasingly diverse, and needs to be securely accessed and analyzed by any number of applications and people. And against the backdrop of this increasing data volumes and the desire to get the right data to the right people, 2020 has shown us that we need to be prepared to deal with change. That's why companies need to move to a big data strategy that enables them to put the vast amounts of data to work to make better, more informed decisions, respond faster to the unexpected data growth, look around the corners, improve efficiency, and uncover new opportunities. Each of these analytics services is optimized to give you the best performance and cost for each analytics jobs. And as Adam mentioned in his keynotes, some customers want all the benefits without having to touch any infrastructure. And so we have been working hard at it and making all the things for you serverless. AWS has the broadest of the most serverless options for data analytics in the cloud today. For data warehousing, we have Redshift serverless. For big data processing, we have EMR serverless. For streaming and real-time analytics, we came up with MSK serverless and Kinesis data stream on demand. For interactive analytics, we have Athena, which is serverless by nature. For data integration, we have ETL and catalog, and to address all your catalog needs, we have Glue, which has been supporting serverless Spark since 2017. For data lake setup, management, and governance, we launched Lake Formation, which is also serverless by nature. For data visualization, we have QuickSight. For almost every type of analytics needs, we have a serverless option to make it easy for our customers to do what they do best, which is focus on their application and we handle the rest. As we mentioned earlier, once you have a centralized data lake and a collection of purpose-built analytics services for your use case, it is important to be able to access the data wherever it lives, secure it, and have governance policies to keep you in compliance with regulation and security best practices.
Thank you, Palak. That was a comprehensive overview of why we need to start looking at data from a new and fresh set of eyes to see how we can unlock its true potential with all the plethora of services that AWS provides us for all business conditions. And that's where TEKsystems can help you. We can bring to the table proven best practices, qualified talent, and above all, a faster way to unlock the business potential of your data to its truest benefits. In today's presentation further, let's take a look at how we can build this brick by brick in terms of establishing a strong foundation, setting up a data estate build out, laying out the framework, and above all, utilizing the truest capability using prescriptive analytics. We'll start with introductions of the terms that we will talk through in today's webinar here. Data estate is a new term that has picked up quite a bit of speed and momentum because it covers the entire spectrum of data that your organization owns or needs for your success and growth. You have plethora of data sources and data feeds that can make or break a business. And it's important we streamline collection, storage, analysis, and retrieval of this data using efficient methods. Framework is a very important aspect to ensure your data sits on a scalable structure, adopts modern standards, and cost optimized. Performance is the key when it comes to decision-making systems, and business intelligence and analytics always requires data that's reliable and fast. Prescriptive analytics is another concept that has been portrayed in several leading business terminologies, however, not utilized to its fullest potential. And this is where we can leapfrog your analytics journey from what happened, a descriptive way of looking at things, and taking it all the way to the what should I do, which is a prescriptive way of doing things. This way, your end users are not just seeing a report or a dashboard or a trend line that's showing a downward curve or an upward curve, but rather it is associated with a specific action that is recommended by the system depending on all the historical learnings. This is where our predictive analytics, while currently is still human dependent, embracing AI, machine learning techniques, and AWS services will help us leapfrog our reporting and analytical solutions from being descriptive to being prescriptive. We will see through a series of methodologies to get there. To start with, it's very important for us to have a strong data foundation. And this is where a governed data lake sets up as a backbone of modern data estate. In today's world, our source systems are many. We have our first party source systems, which takes care of your transactional needs, such as your ERP systems, Oracle, SAPs of the world. You have several second party systems where you receive data about your sales, about your products, about your transactions from your retailers, suppliers, vendors, and so on and so forth. And then you have a plethora of third party systems that talks about consumer sentiments, the industry in which you operate and its trends, the weather, to take some examples. And you need to be able to ingest all of this data in a governed manner to be able to set up an ecosystem where you can make decisions. And this is where AWS services such as Glue, DMS, Data Sync, Data Stream play a big role of ingesting structured data, unstructured data in a batch mode, stream mode, or whichever frequency that your business demands. By having automated solutions, the ingestion process is also ensured that you are not lagging far behind the actual occurrence of the data itself. It's very important in a modern data lake and a data estate build out that you ensure a metadata driven, configuration driven data ingestion process is adopted. To assist there, your Glue catalog and schema registries are extremely helpful to be able to catalog every piece of data that's coming into the ecosystem. As Palak said, services such as lake formation helps you set up a governance layer on the entire data set that you are receiving into the data lake. There are several ways to transform data depending on the complexity at which you operate. It could be using services such as Redshift with Spectrum, EMR, Lambda, Data Brew, and so on and so forth. Again, the power of a cloud data journey is achieved if you utilize the transformation rules at the right time. So you spend the compute and the processing and storage layers in its most optimized capacity. All of this can then be hosted and residing on a cost optimized, highly scalable S3 ecosystem, and all of your corresponding and ancillary layers such as your machine learning, your reporting solutions, your SQL solutions can now have access to a governed data which has gone through several layers to ensure accuracy, reliability, and speed. At TEKsystems, we have worked through several highly complex as well as large ecosystem of data ingestion, data processing, and data aggregation scenarios. And this is where we come with a series of methodologies, steps, and a framework to be able to efficiently store, process, and aggregate data. Here are some examples of the depth in which we go at every stage of a data life cycle. As part of acquisition, it's very important that we take security in the middle of everything that we do. We need to make sure that we ingest data in a highly secured format, understand that some data sets could be highly sensitive. It could have health metrics. It could have personally identifiable information. And we need to make sure when ingesting the data, you have appropriate encryption methods, both at rest as well as in transit. Moreover, regulatory standards and data conformance are increasingly being put as must-haves as you are ingesting the data. And that is where highly defined data quality rules play a role. Finally, we need to be able to acquire this data through a plethora of sources, which means our infrastructure and ecosystem should support a batch-based direct connectivity to dataset or an API-driven, web services-driven, microservices-driven ability to ingest those datasets. Once the data is acquired, it's very important to process them and clean them to ensure that the data becomes reliable in the form of a gold zone. And this is where we can emphasize on the data quality rules, data taxonomy definitions, such as setting up your master data. You have one source of truth, setting up the mapping hub. You have rules that define in which situations which record wins, and so on and so forth. And that way, you can seamlessly move from a raw zone to a highly qualified and clarified gold zone. All along the way, we need to be agile and need to be ready for your business to take advantages of changing conditions. Anything that we set up through this entire journey need to be defined in a configurable metadata driven framework so that it's easy for us to ingest new source with very little definitions. Finally, all of this is needed for consumption, and therefore we need to make sure the data aggregation rules are efficiently defined to help consumption of data set. This is in the form of aggregation snapshots, which are highly qualified and purpose-driven aggregate metrics, create high-performance queries, utilize appropriate AWS services so you can get access to sub-second and real-time information as it happens, be able to carve out a curated dataset for additional analysis, machine learning models, and for your advanced analytics, and also open up this entire data set for future exploration so your data scientists and your advanced algorithms can be applied to learn about your business and be prepared for identifying the trends and subsequent impact. The data flow needs to maintain high quality, and nevertheless, we need to ensure that this quality, security, and agility is all followed through the entire continuum. Once we have got a strong foundation in the form of our data, we need to move in and take advantage by creating powerful insights. And this is where we can start putting together a methodology to consume the data and not only report them as reactive analytics, but rather look for opportunity to move forward and embed the prescriptive nature of analytics. In order to gear up over an actionable analytics, there are a series of steps that we need to take care of to be able to take full advantage and not have to repeat some of the steps. We highly encourage our customers to adopt and adapt to agile methodology. However, at every sprint and every program increment, we need to come out of it with a successful and verifiable along with a valuable insight. And that is where our goal towards actionable analytics can help demonstrate true value. In this phase of utilizing data to an actionable insights, we will collect data using modern estate framework that we just walked through, following through all the rules of efficient storage, efficient processing, efficient aggregation, and storage. Storage, again, will vary depending on whether you are using it right away or you are archiving it after a certain period of time so that you can utilize the different service offerings within S3. When it comes to collection, it's also important to collect those metrics that makes truest sense and value to your business. In order to do that, it's also important to consistently review your source systems and the data you collect so the data lake doesn't explode, and then when you require large amounts of data sets that's relevant for your business, that the data lake is not set for success. So it's very important to have the clear and modern data estate framework first sorted out and built upon, on which you can take advantage of building actionable analytics. Once you have data that's collected through this method, you can classify the data and derive semantic analysis so that you can actually tag along as to what this data element means for your business and how it will help your business grow. Large number of machine learning models and auto detecting tools are available at our disposal to be able to apply the classification algorithms. Once the classification is done, it's very important for us to be able to interpret the data elements to statistical derivations so that a machine learning model could be systematically and comprehensively built upon. Again, there are several AWS, including SageMaker, Amazon Forecast, to name a few, to be able to utilize the methods and in terms of classification as well as interpretation. And we don't need to really invest in a large team of data scientists to be able to do the steps. We have at our disposal a large number of services that we can take advantage of. Prescription is where we are connecting the dots, and specifically for a statistical occurrence, what specific action that your business would recommend be taken for that scenario. And this is again customizable from one customer to another depending on the industry you operate on. And it's also highly encouraged when you are recommending an action through the prescription method that you also be able to explain why that action is recommended. It's possible that sometimes you might need to give multiple actions as recommendations until you learn more about the business behaviors. And it's highly encouraged to continuously learn and adapt to this framework. And this is where setting up a machine learning loop is extremely helpful. So when a suggestion is provided in the front end screen using prescriptive analytics, we also continuously monitor what's the action that the end user is taking and whether that action has resulted in a positive or a negative trend. Continuously learning your business applying machine learning loop and methodologies is extremely important for us to achieve the actionable analytics to its fullest potential. Let us share a couple of experiences of how we did this in real world scenario. Prior to that, let's also look at all the ML services that AWS has started investing heavily and available closely aligned to its core services. For example, on the databases, we have Aurora and Neptune ML services embedded within them. And similarly, the Redshift ML helps you receive the ML models and execution of them right within your data warehouse. And then we have additional services from Athena and QuickSight ML services. ML is not restricted to a group of people now. It's available, its power is extremely high, and if applied correctly, you can enable that machine learning loop that will continuously learn about your business. It's also important to have a clear roadmap when you're approaching projects of this scale. And again, we have given a sample representation of our recommended phased approach that will involve preparation and planning, setting up a strong compute platform, enabling your data platform, connecting through all the integration components, and establishing a pilot to production. This is just one phase that we recommend our customers to see success in a program increment, which is approximately 6 to 8 sprints. Again, this is extremely important for us to start where your journey is and adapt accordingly because customers are at different and varied levels of their cloud journey paths, and TEKsystems can bring to the table the efficient ways to quickly land and implement the data estate and prescriptive analytic solutions for the business problems you're solving at this moment. At each step, it's extremely important to identify the business use cases, the return on investment, the total cost of ownership, and extremely important aspects such as ability to maintain and expand the services. Training and knowledge retention is a critical factor as new initiatives are set up. And we can further expand this along in multi-phased approach that could go sequentially or parallelly, depending on the business units and specific use cases that you are attempting. And we can share with you several models in the new world of how we can take advantage of the services, the framework, the capabilities, and methodologies to achieve success here. All of this is important when the rubber hits the road and we are actually putting a project through its entire life cycle journey. And I'm extremely happy to share a couple of examples so you can relate the business benefits you get when taking up a modern data estate with prescriptive analytics. A Fortune 500 fast moving consumer goods company primary goal was to modernize their data warehouse systems into AWS cloud and using all the efficient data ingestion, storage, and aggregation methods to get there. As we embarked onto the journey and set them up for a strong, governed data lake and modified all of their current reports to take advantage of the performance and aggregation and storage of this new data platform, we came across a unique scenario where consumer sentiments, which was not integrated into this data warehouse in the past, can now be integrated with seamless ease, and we can derive insights to keep the products that are of high demand at the right place at the right time. This resulted in a tremendous customer experience that was positive and customer satisfaction, resulting in product gains. Again, it's important to understand that the data is always and has always been there, but the ability of setting up analytics, embedding them right where the transaction was happening, can result in extremely high utilization of the dashboards, because now we are not only seeing what happened, but we are also receiving insights and valuable comments as to what can we do from here on. So this could lead to new market promotions. This could lead to taking care of sensitive issues like customer satisfaction issues, for example. And this could also churn out a series of untapped potential of your data. This is where when customers talk about data monetization, it is really something that's on the table and that you can take advantage of once you put a value to your data set. Another customer of ours was a very large healthcare provider, and they had huge number of accounts payable analysts resolving their AP invoices and all the discrepancies that happened in their invoice matching system. Now, this invoice reconciliation is not restricted to one industry. It is across the board. Every problem of needing to reconcile invoices with the purchase orders, with the receipts, with inventory acceptance in your shop floor, and so on and so forth. And most of the processes today are still manual. The ERP does come with valuable alerts. However, it is left to the discretion of the business user as to what action they should take. And this is where combining the power of advanced analytics, machine learning models, and even fully automated solutions such as robotic process automation solutions can help take care of the issue in a methodical way, where if you need a user intervention, you provide them with all the options and then ask them for their input. But then if you have seen scenarios where the machine has learned enough to be able to trigger an action of its own, naturally staying within the boundaries and governance rules of your data sets, you can take advantage of RPA utilities and take care of the issue at hand. These are just a couple of examples in a plethora of other different examples that you can think of when you combine the power of modern data estate with prescriptive analytics. We have many more such examples, such as how can we set up a smart supply chain wherein you would want to react not after but before when it comes to stock out situations. So you can continuously watch for the demand surge of your fast moving products. It could be seasonal, it could be trended, it could be of various factors. But if you keep a close eye on the demand surge and continue to review the inventory stock and identify an ability to look for stock out situation, how can you be proactively sending the next batch of your inventory to that particular store? So these are real top line saving steps where your revenue loss could be minimized and your customer satisfaction could be improved. If we bring it all together, the focus of this webinar has been how can we get your data in a governed, actionable format, and how can we put an analytics that is modern and looking forward and not backward. And this is where the modern data estate framework that assimilates your first party systems, second party systems, and third party systems can be seamlessly integrated into your data platform using methodologies, accelerators, configuration driven systems, and metadata driven frameworks. On top of this data set, we strongly encourage to start thinking how ML models can start adding value, and more importantly, how you can give the end users with options so that it's not a substituted analytics, but rather an augmented analytics at play, wherein the end user gets to still continue to teach the machine a typical action step that you take depending on the situation. And a machine learning loop can be set up so it can learn from the user actions and it can bring the true power of prescriptive analytics. TEKsystems and AWS are in this journey together for your success. And as a forward thinking partner, we can help innovate to your specific market drivers. And we can set up a data platform that focuses on driving business value. Again, all of this need to come together in a well architected format, aligning to AWS standards, industry standards, and framework standards, such that when you set this ball rolling, you have a clear plan in place, strong security frameworks governing the entire data journey, being agile, highly qualified, and set up for your success. That results in a true business value. Thank you for all the time that you have given today, and we hope to hear from you on how we can talk relating to your business success and bring in all the best practices to the bear. Thank you so much.